This is a 24 Kawasaki Ninja 500, 40th anniversary. It ain't slow. Here it is, the 2024 Kawasaki Ninja 500, the 40th anniversary model in this beautiful green, white, and blue. Stay with me, you don't want to miss this. The first thing you'll notice is a keyless start system, and so you'll walk up to the bike. You don't have to do anything with it, hit a button on your remote, nothing. Just being in proximity of the bike will release the ignition. It does have a lock here where you could lock the ignition, and all you'll do is turn into the lock position, walk away from the bike, and it'll lock it electronically. You can see the Bluetooth one to pair up. We've got our ignition on. There we go. This bike, man, this is a super cool bike. I tell you what, I've had a bunch of questions about this bike. This is a 2024, the 40th anniversary 500, Kawasaki 500. This is the SE edition, I believe. Huge thank you to Plano Kawasaki Suzuki that allows me to do these videos for y'all. Man, give them a call, reach out to them if you're in the area, or even if you're not, they've got all this stuff in stock. They'll ship you one. The first thing I can tell you is it's extremely comfortable. Make sure I'm getting all this in the viewfinder for you. Man, that screen is beautiful. The front brakes, man, that front brake's perfect. It does have a adjustable suspension in the rear, and it does have that slipper clutch, and the slipper clutch is more for beginners. Use that front brake. Thankfully, this does have ABS. I believe you can get it without ABS. This model here, the 40th anniversary, is a limited production bike, I believe. I don't exactly know the limits on how many they're going to produce in this blue, white, and green Kawasaki 40th color. If somebody knows that, leave me a comment in the comment section. And, nice guy. He sure was looking. They always look, but if you ain't acting a fool, you're going to be just fine. So we'll get going. It's got a clock on it. This bike runs to about 10,500 RPMs. Let me tell you, also, I've got another, boy, they're working this back street today. But anyways, this is in the same category as like the Aprilia 457. The 457 would probably be a little bit more track oriented, but it's got some torque. Let me tell you about the torque and horsepower numbers, okay? That's what's super cool. So this bike, I've done a bunch of investigating on it. The 400, the Ninja 400, which this replaces, is about, I think it was 41 horsepower. This bike went up 50, I think it's 51 cc's, 57 cc's, and this bike makes, man, this is a fun bike right here. This bike makes about 51 horsepower, 47 actually. It depends on what dyno you put it on, but I think it's got to be 47 horsepower to be compliant in Europe for their driver's license system. Let me set that mirror. Yeah, I should have done that before I left. Anyways, I always look over my shoulder. Of course, that's not the best, but so this is this bike makes about 47 horsepower minimum and like 31 foot-pounds of torque. You should be seeing that graph. And TST did some dyno stuff on it, and that's what they come up with, and that's right on the money. The good thing about this bike is you could flash this bike and this thing would really come alive. I've heard they're getting upwards of 50 horsepower. They're adding 7 to 9 horsepower by flashing it. So if you were a new rider and you started riding this bike and you wanted to wake it up a little bit, this bike will go right here. Wow! But anyways, man, I love that front brake. I very rarely use the back brake, and this is cool right here. Man, this beautiful color, this 40th anniversary color. This would be something you could buy. This is like a $6,500 bike. It's about $900 more. It's about $900 more than the regular edition. But like I say, this does have keyless ignition, and which is pretty nice because you just put the remote in your pocket, and that's about it, and you're good to go. So, and you walk up to the bike, and say if you forget to turn something off or something, just walk away from the bike. It immobilizes the ignition, which is super cool. And this is the first bike I know of with Kawasaki that's done that. Man, this thing is just so nimble. This is a 370-pound motorcycle. The front rotors are like 300. The front rotor is 310 millimeter. This bike does have ABS. So it's got, and I'll go over the display here in just a second. You can flip that display. It's black now, but you could flip it to white. Yeah, I should have adjusted those mirrors. Dang it. I always forget that. That's a bad habit. Anyways, it's got a fuel gauge on it, the odometer, the time, your water temperature, your average mile per gallon. I'll tell you what are you going to buy for $6,500 that's a limited production bike that's as sporty as this? Another thing that this bike has is this extended windshield, and this comes on the SE, the upgraded model. You don't have to get a 40th anniversary edition to get it. Just buy the SE, and you'll get the taller windscreen, and I can tell that it helps. It's helping keep the wind off of me. But I'll be honest with you, I love the wind hitting me. I mean, man, this bike is super nimble, super steady. It's a 370-pound bike with 47 horsepower minimum. Like I say, you could send your ECM or ECU out and get it flashed and get about another 7 to 8 horsepower, and that's huge. I mean, that's something you can feel. The horsepower, and I'll show you the diagram from the dyno runs that they did with this. The horsepower has actually been moved down, not the horsepower moved down, but the where you start accessing the horsepower and torque was moved down from on the 400 Ninja to now it starts coming in at about 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, and that makes sense because I'm just cranking it right there, and it's $6,000. It's starting to wake up. I mean, it's getting pretty lively. This is going to be a bike that you can get 60, 70 miles per gallon. I mean, you see it's 71 miles per gallon right now, the way I'm riding it. And I'm not running it to the red line, but you can go in there and also connect this to the Kawasaki Rideology app. You can get your messages. It'll show your messages on your phone that you got a message. It'll show you some metrics in there, how long your last ride was. I think it shows G-force information on stopping and taking off. But this bike is so snappy, man. I'm gonna get off of it and let y'all walk around it with me. This is a gorgeous bike. I mean, super gorgeous. 2024 Ninja 500 SE, $65.99. Unbelievable you could buy this much bike. We're gonna give it a little little scoot. Oh yeah, it wanted to pull that front wheel up. Man, look at that thing stop. I mean, this thing will stop. And with that slipper clutch, you can hear this bike, man. It sounds good too. I mean, it sounds real good. I could imagine if you put a pipe on it, like an aftermarket pipe, and got this bike flashed. But I'm gonna get off this bike and walk around it and show you how beautiful this thing is, and the difference is what you get for I think it's $800 or $1,000. The $800 to $1,000 difference is for what you get. I don't see, man, that thing goes into neutral super easy. Anyways, here's the screen. Make sure I'm getting that. Average mile per gallon, your range on your tank. Average speed was 14 mile an hour. Total time 19 minutes. Let's go over to this left button. Trip A, 4.7 miles. Trip B, 4.7 miles. This bike's got 4 miles on it. I'm going to get it off of it and show it to you. Look at this thing, man. It is freaking gorgeous. It's got the Kawasaki green on the wheels. It also has your crash guards on there. It comes on it. Those would be probably $200 to $300 to $400 if you bought those aftermarket and put them on there. That comes with this $65.99. The keyless ignition comes with it. Look at the front end on this bike. Looks just like, to me, looks really close to like a ZX6R. I mean, look how good that looks. Make sure I've got you in the viewfinder here. I mean, look at that. Look at those headlights. That is one good looking bike, man. ABS, got your ABS ring here. Nissan, I believe it's a 4-piston caliper, 310 millimeter brake caliper. I did another Ninja, the cheaper one of these, and there's some more stuff that's answered in that as far as questions. But look at this, taller windshield, 2024, $65.99. I'm moving, putting my hand in the way. I'm trying to make sure I got this a viewfinder. 2024 Ninja 500 SE. Look at that, $65.99. This bike is gorgeous. Your flash to pass there, high beam, low beam, 4-way flasher. There's your indicators up there, your neutral indicator there, horn. But this keyless ignition is so cool. I mean, that is cool right there. So I've actually got the key in my pocket. I'll show you what the key looks like, or not the key, but to get into the fuel tank, you will need the key. You just flip it out. There's a transponder. You just put this in your pocket when you leave the house. This bike also has the side grip that come on it. There's probably $300, probably $200 for the tank protectors. And you can actually put your legs on that, and it kind of helps if you're cornering, you know. But look at this bike, man. LED rear lights. Let me turn those back on. See, I walked up to it. There we go. That orange light come on. Look at that LED tail light that comes on it. $200 or $300 plus your labor. I mean, everything, all LED lights, rear tail light. Got your painted green rims, green, white, and blue. There's not a prettier bike. Your crash protection. This is a beautiful bike. Hey, if you like the videos that I'm doing, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video if you got something from it. I ride a new bike every week at Plano Kawasaki Suzuki Aprilia in Plano, Texas. Man, it's been a super year. They've gave me total access. Their information is always in the description of my videos, but their phone number is 972-422-4111. Give them a shout. They've got all this stuff in stock. They're one of the country's biggest sellers of Kawasaki and Aprilia and Suzuki. They are the biggest in the South. But they've got all this stuff. Give them a shout. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for riding with me, and God bless.